5:30. I'd like to open the Town of Bourne Board of Health meeting for December 11th, 2024. We are also live on Zoom. So the Zoom chat will not be monitored. Any participants who wish to speak must raise their hand icon until the chair asks them to unmute. Note this meeting is being televised and recorded by Bourne Community TV for replay. If anyone in the audience is also recording or videotaping, they need to acknowledge such at this time. All items within the meeting agenda are subject to deliberation and votes by the Board of Health. If anyone from the public wishes to access the meeting remotely, they can do so by clicking the Zoom link or by calling the following conference line on their phone and using the Zoom meeting ID and password below. Dial-in number is 309-205-3325. Meeting ID number is 315-403-5336, and the password is 02532. So calling the meeting to order, I'd like to take attendance. Miguel Prieto.
Present.
Margaret.
Here.
Here. Dusty.
Here.
Barbara.
Here.
Bob here. Okay. Second item on the agenda is 6 Lake Drive. Bradley Bertolo, CSE of JC Engineering. Mr. Bertolo.
Good evening.
Good evening to you, sir.
For the record, Brad Bertolo with JC Engineering on behalf of the property owner. This project is located at 6 Lake Drive, involves the upgrade of an existing failed septic system. The existing 2-bedroom dwelling is currently serviced by a septic tank and a pipe and stone leaching trench located in the existing driveway. We are bounded by Flax Pond to the south and a small fringe of wetland. This being the wetland, 50-foot, and this is 100-foot. There is a wetland across the street as well.
Right.
The upgrade entails removing all existing components and installing a new H20 1,500-gallon tank with microfast unit because the system will be within 150 feet of the wetlands. And after the septic tank, we'll have a D-box and H20 concrete structures shown here highlighted in blue in the same footprint, or same location as the existing system. It is currently sized for 2 bedrooms. I have a draft 2-bedroom deed restriction. Due to space constraints, we're asking for a few variances or local upgrade approvals. First being a setback to the front property line from 10 down to 4 feet. That will help move the system away from the house, the deck structure, the sonotube that's right beside the deck, as well as provide additional separation from the wetlands. We are also asking for a reduction between the soil absorption system and the full basement from 20 feet down to 15.6, so that's a 4.4-foot waiver. We're looking to reduce the remove and replace by 1 foot from 5 feet to 4 foot on the street side, just so that we keep all work outside of the layout of Lake Drive. And due to the elevation of the pipe leaving the house, we're looking for a 2-foot reduction to the depth to groundwater, which actually is allowed under the remedial use permit from DEP on a microfast unit under remedial situations.
Okay.
I think this is probably the best location as far as I can get it, trying to minimize the impact to the property. We have a water line that runs directly down the middle, and the house is closest to the street on the other side. So I think this makes the most sense for a location. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Is that the first or the second house as you turn the corner from Williams on to
Second
Lake?
house.
Second.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And any questions from the board? Comments? Katie? Any comments on that?
Nothing, no big comments. It is a failed septic system. There's no proposed work on the house. This is just an upgrade to the failed system, and they are voluntarily incorporating nitrogen reduction. And as he said, the FAST system is a secondary treatment unit approved for remedial use, so that 2-foot separation of groundwater request is automatically granted with that approval from DEP. They are proposing a 2-bedroom design system, so 220 gallons per day, because the system is, constrained on the lot, so the smaller the system, the better we can do, and the house is already existing at 2 bedrooms. I have no concerns with the system as proposed.
I have one more question.
Okay, Barbara.
And this is just for my own education. How did you determine, like, the seasonal high groundwater? Would you do some testing, or is that?
During the perk test, you found the elevation of modeling.
Yeah.
So that would indicate periods where groundwater was at that elevation. And in this case here, it was about 2.5 feet higher than the actual water elevation.
Okay.
That was in the test pit, 33.6. We didn't locate the pond elevation, but
Okay.
probably pretty much really close to the level of the pond.
Okay, all right, perfect, thank you.
And you said you have a draft deed restriction. Is that going to be filed with the county, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. I had it submitted with the application,
Okay,
just so
with
they
the
had a
applica- Okay,
record of it.
all right, great, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, motion?
Make a motion to approve 6 Lake Drive, Bradley M., forgive me, my glasses, I forgot them. M.
Bertolo.
Thank you. EIT, CSE of JC Engineering Incorporated, on behalf of owner Maureen, R. Glennon, requesting relief from 310 CMR 15.00 in the Bourne Board of Health regulations for the installation of an IA septic system. Variances requested include a 65.5 variance from our 150-foot variance for the setback for the soil absorption system to the wetlands adjacent to Flax Pond, a 6-foot waiver, 10 foot down to 4 foot for the setback from the soil absorption system to the front property line, a 4.4 waiver, 20 foot down to 15.6 for the setback of the soil absorption system to the basement wall, a 1 foot waiver, 5 foot to 4 foot for the width of the removal and replace on the street side of the soil absorption system, a 2 foot waiver, 5 foot to 3 foot for the separation between seasonal high groundwater and the bottom of the soil absorption system.
Okay. Second. Miguel seconds. Margaret?
Yes.
Barbara?
Yes.
Bob, yes. So you're approved, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brad.
One quick question, and it won't affect this. The foundation, is that a block foundation or a poured foundation?
So it's a kind of like a Cape Cod cellar, has exterior block foundation, and in the basement, it's maybe like 2.5 feet tall, and then there's like a buttress wall inside. That's another poured concrete. So I think maybe they hand dug or dug a foundation after.
It's an old
Obviously,
hole
couldn't
in the house.
expand the whole way because it, would collapse
They
the house.
had easy digging, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
The third agenda items, 27 Witamo Road. Scott, Seal, is it? Michelli, sorry. Thank you. Longfellow Design and Build, on behalf of owners Judith and Stephanie Murphy and Margaret Ward. Mr. Michelli.
Good evening. Thanks for taking the time to hear this application for variance. So this is a property that's currently owned by a mother and 2 daughters. The property has been in their ownership since 1944. It was, the grandparents owned the house first. It was a summer cottage. Then in 1972, they converted it to a full-time residence, and it's been hand down through the family ever since. And currently what they desire to do is an interior renovations to kind of modernize it. It's really had no renovations since 1972, and that would include increasing the number of bedrooms in the home from 4 to 5, and it's really to keep it in the family for their future generation and their kids. So this is a 5,000 square foot lot. Currently, it's serviced by a 1,000 gallon septic tank and a leaching pit of unknown size. There's no record on file. You know, we did some research, but from what we could tell, that was originally a cesspool. And then at some point, the septic tank was added, but the same leaching pit was used, and the tank was just put in between it and connected. And so we are looking to put an entirely new system in that would consist of a singular DN 960 nitrogen reducing system that's approved for general use by Mass DEP. The expectation is, or at least the certification says, it'll take the total nitrogen effluent down to a concentration of 19 milligrams per liter. And then followed by a pump chamber with that pumps out to a leaching field in the rear yard. That soil absorption system is consisted of perchlorate drip dispersal. We went with that pressure dosing system because the singular allows for a 50% reduction in the leach field area if you go to pressure dosing. So obviously, small lot, not changing the footprint at all. To fit this all in, there's, I think, 5 variances that we're requesting. Just to kind of list them off, separation from, or distance from septic tank to the foundation wall is, I just list these off quick. Let's see, tank to property line is, we're looking for, so we got 2 tanks, obviously, so we're looking to go down from 10 to 2 here, so that's an 8-foot reduction. Tank to foundation wall is going from, we're asking for a reduction down to 5 feet. And then the leach field, we're looking for a reduction from 20 down to 12 to, this is a full foundation, so a reduction down to 12 feet. Reduction to a garage slab from 10 down to 3, and then property line 10 down to 3 also. That's kind of the summary. If there's any questions you have, I'd be happy to try to answer. I do have kind of layouts of what the house looks like now, floor plan versus what they're proposing. If you wanted to see that too, I can flip that up if you'd like to.
Anybody care to see that or have any questions?
I'm just curious, what are you doing with the basement? Says basement unfinished on this, but
It's unfinished and we're not proposing to finish it. So all of these upgrades, the bedrooms are on, there's 1 bedroom proposed on the first floor and 4 on the second floor.
and then is there heat down there?
There is no heat.
Okay,
It's an unfinished basement right now.
okay.
Any other questions, comments from the board?
I just didn't catch your, what's the final nitrogen count?
It looks like it's reducing from 20 parts per million to 11.85.
Okay.
Very good.
Yeah, and that's because they're increasing space, it looks like by 12%, something like that.
Yeah.
And adding in that nitrogen reduction in
Yeah.
pressure distribution versus the existing system, so.
You definitely had your work cut out for you out there, because everything is jam-packed out there.
Oh, yeah.
And it is what it is.
Yeah, yeah, and it's, you know, obviously they desire to stay in this location, so it's a challenge, you know, on such a small lot, but, you know, we did, you know, I didn't mention it, but obviously we did a witness soil test with Caitlin in the backyard. You know, we went down, you know, 127 inches, it was pure sand, no evidence of groundwater, so at least we had good soils to work with. And we are in a flood zone, so we will file an RDA with the Conservation Commission, but we're not within any other buffer zones to any other resource areas.
And Katie, have you been in the house?
I have not, but I've looked through the existing floor plans that they submitted and the ones that we have on file in the office from the original build.
Yeah, so I'd probably say, just I'd like your approval to be subject to Katie being able to go through the house.
I can see if I can schedule to walk through with Dan at the final inspection.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
perfect.
Mhm.
So this print you included is the original house.
That's what's there now from 1972. That's what was built in 1972.
Yeah, it looks like you redrew them anyway on the
We
white
did,
pages.
yeah, the actual building plans that we're gonna submit for a building permit show what walls are getting
Yeah.
taken down in red, so it kind of shows what's getting demolished and what's getting put back.
Yeah, that was helpful.
Katie, any additional information, comments?
No,
The best we can do, right?
yeah,
Best
it's
they
a
can
very,
do.
really small lot. You know, even if they weren't increasing a bedroom, it still would be the same size system there, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, entertain a motion.
Dusty, you doing all, I think you're doing them all today, right? The motion?
Demotion.
I know, it's, you know,
Not
it's
even
the traveling
get a
with that
raise
terrible
either.
accent.
This is the horrible part. All right, hang on here. 27 Wilano?
Weedemo.
Wait a moment.
Weedamo? You have to weed the lawn, road, Scott? Mike?
What are we doing on, though? Are we approving here?
What?
Yeah,
Oh,
because
yeah.
I
Making a
can't,
motion
Oh,
to
yeah, wait.
approve.
I'll
can make
second.
the motion.
I'll second.
Okay.
And then Dusty, just subject to Katie before they get the building permit, Katie doing the walkthrough, making sure that, checking out the
You want to
basement.
go?
Sure, I
All
can
right,
do it.
okay.
I can do it so you don't have to read it. Is that okay?
thank you, Bob. I owe you one.
So I make a motion to approve the request on 27 Whittemore Road by Scott Michelli of Longfellow Design and Build on behalf of the owners Judith and Stephanie Murphy and Margaret Ward, requesting relief from the 310 CMR 15.00 for the installation of an IA septic system. Variances requested include an 8-foot reduction in distance between the SAS and the cellar of the dwelling, a 7-foot reduction in the distance between the SAS and the garage lab, a 7-foot reduction in the distance between the SAS and the property line, and a 5-foot reduction in the distance between the septic tank and the cellar, a 7-foot reduction in distance between the septic tank and the water service line, and an 8-foot reduction in distance from the septic tank to the property line, contingent to the walkthrough by Miche
Yeah, prior to the building permit being issued.
prior to the building being
The
issued.
permit or the occupancy permit?
Occupancy permit.
Mhm.
I second it.
Margaret?
Yes.
Okay, Barbara?
Yes.
Bob, yes. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
You're all set, yeah.
Thank
Have a good night.
Okay. All right. Is there any public comment on non-agenda items tonight? Anybody on Zoom that would like to make a comment, or the audience? No?
I do have some comments.
Okay, we'll get to that.
Keep
All
it
right.
short.
Fifth on the agenda is the health agent's report.
So just one thing to let you guys know of, a couple meetings back, we had 819 Head of the Bay Road on for an extension to their variances. I guess it was actually a full variance request they resubmitted, and I wanted to let you guys know that that has been fully installed. I did a final inspection on November 15th. They're just waiting for the electrical panels to all be fully done, as they haven't finished the house yet, but it is ready to go. So the IA system isn't started up yet, but I will get a call from that company when they go out to do that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Katie.
Yeah.
Comments from the board in regard to future agenda items? Yeah, excuse me, Anne Marie, would you mind just closing that? Disturbance outside.
Yeah, so I have a comment, actually, I've been approached by not few, but many of my patients about the canal and the bike path that I guess they closed the garbage, the trash cans, and So they find a lot of animal droppings, meaning dogs poop, on the way because they have no way to dispose of that. So is there a reason why not one trash can is open?
That, it's actually under the control and jurisdiction of the,
DNR.
yeah, right, DNR, but, or Army Corps of Engineers, right? Is it, if it's along the canal?
Along the canals, Army Corps, yeah.
Army Corps of Engineers. So we have no,
Trash cans are ours,
we have,
no? Yes, at the beginning of, on both sides of the canal.
so that would
At
be.
the entrances,
At the entrances, we have, but they're closed. However, the one close here in downtown, if you walk close to the street, those are opens, but the one by the canal is not.
so similar to like at the beaches, how they close those off.
So I went and checked, and do you know where I found a lot of the book bags?
Where?
In the Porter John.
Oh,
Oh, ew.
Wow.
So, well, but you know,
Do we
like,
own that parking lot? Do we own that parking lot?
no, along the canal in Buzzards Bay, no, we do
Yeah.
not.
oh, that's not part of, that's not the town's?
We have the, like where the park starts, the canal, the parking at the front is Army Corps. So like that bathroom area, the Porter Johns are all Army Corps.
Yeah, yeah, where the concrete building with the bathrooms are, is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that, because it's interesting, what the park is, the trash cans are open.
Yes.
I saw that. But those, the ones by the canal, so those are not the
The-
town's?
Yeah, those are not ours, yeah.
Okay.
No, good question, though. So the town trash cans are open and available, but the,
On this side of the canal,
Yeah.
not on the other
On
side.
the other side.
Okay.
Well, the one on the other side, if you're talking Bell Road, that's Corps of Engineers totally.
Is it?
yeah. Good question for them, right?
Yeah, you'd think that they would want it nice and clean, but
Yeah.
does.
Maybe they don't have.
Well, it just can
staff.
become a
Staff to do
health
it, yeah.
hazard for the
Absolutely.
town residents, you know, like, I mean,
Right.
the
Yeah.
excrement in there, but,
Yeah, that's no good, for sure. You know, I don't know how we would approach that with them from a town perspective.
Waltham, that's who you have to
You
contact.
have to contact somebody in Waltham, so,
Yeah.
I don't know,
They're not too fast on the response.
I'm sure.
But it's probably, to your point, it's this whole staff, they gotta get somebody down here to empty them, and who knows?
Yeah, they probably have additional staff in the summer to, you know, just
Well,
to tend to the
They
needs
did
of the,
cut back to once a week
of the
now,
canal.
where before they were going 2 and 3 times a week. Even
To
the
empty
Bourne,
trash
at
and
the
so forth.
beginning up by
Yeah.
Main Street up there, they did it a couple times a week because of the, I
Yeah.
don't know what the people bringing the trash from home or what, but they were filling them fast.
Cleaning out their cars and everything else.
Yeah.
okay.
All right. Thanks, Miguel. Any other questions, comments, concerns?
I was going to bring something up. I don't see a way for me to raise my hand.
It's okay. I saw
This
the,
time?
I saw the twinkle in your eye over there, waiting for your turn. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Listen, a couple months ago, Miguel suggested something about 5K, was it a race to be put on in the spring? A possibility that we could sponsor that? And I was just going to say that if we really want to do that, Miguel, could you come up with a plan of things that we can do to kick it off, to begin the process? Maybe for us to discuss in January, because I'm willing to help a lot with that, but I just need to be told what to do.
Sure. I mean, I can come up with, because I know the other side has the measurements, but we can just paint them in here. So we will do 2.5 miles that way and then back. And sort of similar to what they do for the Falmouth Road Race
Yeah.
on the ground, and, you know, it doesn't have to be a run, it can be a walk too. And
But we might have to, you know, if you think about advertising, we might have to have a permit or something from the town to put on such an event. So those kind of, let's find out, and we probably have to start several,
Right.
you know, months. At
True.
least, you know, in advance to get it organized. So let's find out what we need to do and start working on it, and think about talking about that in January.
And then we can approach, I'm not really familiar because I don't eat out that much, but with the food trucks and things and see if they wanted to participate and get them to quote unquote sponsor. I don't know if we charge for them to go to the place, but we're not gonna charge them, just ask them for donations that we can use for it. This is just to, you know, promote health in the community and so on. Of course, we can't tell them not to cook fried stuff and so on. But you pick your battles.
This is true. Right, right.
But you have to notify, once you said food trucks, you have to notify the selectmen, go in front of the selectmen for permission to do that.
It depends, so yes, so depending on what you want to do for the event, it could typically just be use of town property to have the congregate at the town park and use that as our setup part. If you want to start using, you know, vendors or food trucks, then it will need like a special event permit, and that does get approved by the Board of Selectmen, yes.
Okay. Yeah, and the whole point to get them to sponsor is not like to sponsor medals and things like that, but, you know, packages and things like cheap pedometers to get people walking, that kind of stuff that will stimulate.
Right.
And creating walking clubs so people can start doing, you know, group things that will.
Call
help.
Apple, get Apple Watches for everybody.
Yeah, Apple Watches for everybody. We can do that. So, you know, well, yes. So I will measure. I presume it will be this side of the bridge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
I
a
think so.
staging area and everything, yeah.
Right. And they do have that big restroom there. And so when do they open the restroom? Because we want to have that open when?
Probably in April.
I was gonna say it's before Memorial Day. Maybe, yeah, maybe the first week of April.
Yeah, something like that, you know, the
I
strike
think we
will
have
start running
some
in
kind of schedule.
like
something.
late April, mid-April.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's when the fishermen all come down and the weather starts to improve and people come down and start using the canal for
Right.
recreational
Yep.
purposes. Okay, good
So
idea.
to be done like a week or two before Memorial Day, before it gets really hectic?
I think that's probably a good target. Why
Okay.
not? Can be a flip of the coin, as you know, in mid-May, but usually May's been very nice in recent years, you know? Yeah, weather-wise,
And I can start looking into just what types of permits we need through
yeah.
administration's office for use of town property and any kind of special event. So I
First
can look
thing.
into that and start maybe the application process, so
Yeah.
that way we're ready to go.
First
We
things
can
first.
ask Stacy for ideas for lays to put on
Yes.
people
Oh,
that
yeah.
participate.
Yeah,
Can I bring up
Stacy.
something too? Just a thing, because Miguel, I love that you bring up these healthy things. I don't know how many people I probably, I see somebody smoking, I go, you can add 12 years to your life or 14 years to your life. I tell them those 5 things. I've probably told in multiple states, at least 25 people those things that you said at the meeting. Like, I would think that would be a fabulous thing to, like, if I know you volunteer anyway, but if we could set up something like or the next time that you're talking or doing something, like maybe we
That's a
just
good idea.
promote
We
it a
can-
little
We
bit
can
more.
have stations to cover the tenets of lifestyle medicine, which is nutrition, physical activity, avoiding risky substances, sleep, stress management, and, I missed one.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we can certainly, and provide information and.
Yeah,
well, I was, I think I've suggested in the past, maybe having a little article in the Enterprise every week about something, if we could have a little piece, if they would, grant us a little section that we could have an article in each week with some aspect of public health, and just draw on different sources of information, including ourselves. So that would be
Okay.
nice. Or, in the past, I've done a lot of like community cable TV shows, tobacco stuff, tobacco-related topics, but they're always looking for people to come in and do stuff for the local, local.
So let me
you'd be
ask you.
fabulous at that. You'd be fabulous on that.
I'll be happy, yeah, I'll be happy to
Yeah.
speak. So do you think then May or June will be better? We'll do it a Saturday and see if
Actually,
families come. and-
you do have kind of a lull right after Memorial Day because the kids are still in school before the summer people all arrive. There's a couple of weeks there. Might not be a bad idea to do it that first weekend in June or something, you know, maybe like June 6th or 7th or
And the
whatever.
weather should be better.
Yeah, typically, but you just never know. You can't control that, but.
Welcome to Cape Cod.
June was fabulous last year. You know. I remember my kids playing Little League. Sometimes like 10 games rained out in June. You know, you just never, back in 20 years ago. But anyway, one other thing I wanted to ask, Katie, have you heard from the selectmen about the meeting that they had asked us to join them for?
So I did talk with Maria in the select board's office to just kind of give me a heads up on what's confirmed. As of right now, it's tentatively scheduled for that first meeting in January, so the 7th.
7th, yeah.
I think the goal was to have DEP there, because they wanted updates on the comprehensive waste management, and then we were gonna kind of do a combination talk about that and all these
Yeah.
watershed permits.
They want to do a combination meeting.
Yeah.
For the selectmen, for us in on January 7th.
I believe DEP got back to Marlene and said that they were not available that day,
Oh.
so it might be pushed.
Okay.
I'll keep you guys in the loop once I hear more about it.
Okay. Well, if.
But either way, I mean, a conversation between you and the select board wouldn't be terrible either to go over anything. that
Yeah,
they
well,
wanna talk about.
I spoke with MJ a few weeks ago. She, you know, she asked if we would be interested in that. I said, yes, certainly.
Yeah.
So that was the date that she gave me. So if we have to push that out,
Yeah. So yeah, I'll confirm and make sure that even though DEP's not there, you know, do we still want to have a joint meeting to discuss a certain topic? And then I'll let you guys know
yeah,
before the holidays.
that would be wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anything else? Margaret? No?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. And number 7 is to approve the minutes of, do we have minutes to approve? We don't. Also want to welcome aboard our new staff person. Is it Anne Marie? is it?
Anne Marie.
Anne Marie. And Anne Marie will be the new administrative assistant, has been hired to be the new administrative assistant in the office, so.
Thank you.
So if you know, this is Dr. Prieto, Mike Miguel. This is Dusty here, you know who we are, right, Barbara? And there's Margaret.
I met Margaret this morning.
Margaret, I told her how offensive you are and violent. So, anyway, then welcome aboard, and I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay,
Second.
okay. Dusty, yes. Margaret?
Yes.
Yes. Bob, yes.
And it's just smiling now.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy